All right, chick, how are we living? We got to put on some chill music. And tonight we are going minimalist stream tonight because we're going to be doing some AI shit. So we got to make sure we get our best stream possible. And life is good. Let's see if we can. It's because we're going to be doing. Nope. Audio output source. There we go. Good. Let's see if we can. It's because we're going to be doing. Nope. Oh, we should be good to go there. Source. There we go. Good. Let's see if we can. It's because we're going to be doing. Nope. Oh, we should be good to go there. Source. There we go. Good. Let's see if we can. It's because we're going to be doing. Nope. All right, let's get this tutorial cooking. Twitch. Tutorial cooking. Alright, bueno, let's get into Vertex AI Conversation. Where'd you go, Vertex? Here we go. Tutorial cooking. Alright, bueno, let's get into Alright, let's jump into this Vertex AI Conversation tutorial. The other night on live, I went in and created an AI chat agent from my website, just saying, hey, learn my website. Quick note before we get into this, I'm going to do this one just kind of full live, rocking and rolling. The other micro tutorials for kind of getting everything set up work pretty good, but we're going to jump into a hybrid. First things we got to know is, hey, what can we expect when we're getting into this? And, there's a couple little things that we want to make sure we decide on before you start building it, because you don't want to come back and have to reroute everything. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Dialogflow CX. We're going to take a look at what we can do and where we can start getting some of those analytics. We'll go through the settings in this video to kind of give you an overview of what's going on. The two things we need to decide initially is, one, when somebody comes to your page, is that chat agent going to pop up automatically? And if it is, what is it going to say? And then number two is we got to start thinking about what's called route groups. So we'll jump into both. Right now, we'll get into Agent Builder. Right now what I'm looking at is just my GCP home screen, so nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. What we're going to look for here is we are going to look for Agent Builder, I talked about it in the earlier video, but if this is your first video seeing this live, the search bar up here is going to be your best friend. All right, so let's jump into Agent Builder. That's what we're looking for now. It's previously called Vertex AI Conversation, Vertex AI Search and Conversation, which we'll get into Vertex AI Search next. That's a really good, if it's document heavy, like for HR, for policies, or hazmat, or safety. So we'll get into that next. But this is old Hank. This is who we trained on our website last night. And we want Hank to be essentially, our customer service facing rep for BizRise.io. I want Hank to be on the landing page. Hank's got a ton of training on my website from thataido.com. We're going to use that to push traffic to the web app as well. But let's take a look at Hank. We got that data store last night. Let's go check on the data store, make sure it's indexed and everything's good there. And to be able to do this, make sure your Google or your website is indexed by Google ahead of time. That way, essentially it's just going to give permission for Google to come check out your website. Document usage per quota. Look at this. Just 9 out of, how many is that? 1 million? It's a ton, right? You can put a lot of data into these agents. They can become experts overnight. All right. But let's go take a look at Hank on the Dialogflow CX console. And then we'll make those decisions on what we want to do for either the intro message and then what we're going to start thinking about with flows, because that's something important to think about when you're going to start really structuring your agent. So in order to take this thing hybrid, first I'm gonna want a welcome message. So hey, when this pops open, I want Hank to initiate the conversation. Say, hey, welcome to BizRise.io. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Hank. Here's what I can help you with. Here's what BizRise.io is all about. Just help customers when they come to the landing page, because something that is significantly important is having that landing page be ready to go. All right, so what does that mean? Now, there's not just like a, hey, jump right open. Like this default welcome intent in here isn't going to say something out of the gate. That's the first response. So that doesn't get it done. But what we can do is if you come in here under Dialogflow, this is some of their docs on Google Cloud, Dialogflow CX. But what we're looking at under the text-based Dialogflow CS or Messenger is the customizations right here. And what we're looking for is this right here called intent. Okay, it's a custom event that will be invoked, all right, when the dialog is open. So when it is opened, something's going to happen, right? It's going to have a custom intent. And we want to put this in the DF messenger tag, all right? So in the DF messenger tag in our HTML code, all right, we want to put intent that will create a custom event when it's opened. All right, so how do we do that? And this is the really good article that I found online for reference, but here's the answer for it. How do you get it done? Now, this might look like gibberish, but this is, step 1, step 2, step 3, the perfect description for what you need to do. So number 1, we need to use the attribute intent. Okay, so we need this part. We need to have intent inside the DF messenger tag. Okay, so what we're going to do there, I use VS Code or Visual Studio Code too. But let's come in here and take a look. So we need intent. We need something to say intent, and it needs to live inside this tag. Okay, so I'm going to copy intent. You can just type it in, but I'm going to copy it right here. Let's go over to VS Code 2, and I got an example here. This is Hank. These are all the customizations for CSS, which just means what colors is Hank gonna have. Okay, nothing crazy, but what is our objective right now? We need to put intent inside DF messenger tag. Okay, here's our DF messenger tag right here. You see where it says DF/messenger. Okay, and then that closes right here. It's got the end tag here. So what we need to do, the end tag here. But what we need to do is put intent in there. So we got to come inside right there. We'll put intent and just follow that format up top. Follow the syntax above it. Equals, okay, and we're going to put welcome. Just like that. Simple and easy, okay? And go ahead and save that. So we know we have now put the intent inside the DF messenger tag, and that intent is named welcome, okay? So we're good to go on our code, and we'll get this code when we go to deploy it. I'll show you where to get that. We should probably go check that out right now because you're going to need it. Okay, so let's go save that, and then let's go check out where we can get that code. So if you come back into Dialogflow CX and you click publish right here, draft, you can use that environment right now to get the code. Pop out right here, we're not going to do side panel. And you can add a custom domain if you need to, but when you click enable the authenticated API, this is going to pop up that code. Okay. Now this is a demo account, so make sure if you're doing this, you keep your agent ID and your project ID safer. But this is where you're going to get that code. Okay, and basically you can just copy it here. You can come in and your DF messenger tags right here. So you'd be adding intent essentially right there. Intent. Okay. And this is what CSS it comes with. It looks pretty cool. I mean, coming straight out of the box, they do a great job. But that's where you get the code from and where you would put it in. Alright. But what do we need to do now that we have put intent inside of the DF messenger tag? We have to create a custom event. Okay. How do we do that? Head back to Dialogflow CX, and what we're going to do is click on the start page here. Now, we need to create a custom event. Alright, so let's do that. Create one. Right up top, we're going to use custom event. Select that. And we're just going to type the same thing. Welcome. Just like that, okay? And then we got to make sure when it opens, the agent says something, alright? So, welcome to bizrise.io. Welcome to bizrise.io. My name is Hank. Let me show you around the place. Bizrise.io is an AI-powered web app developed for small businesses. Let's do something a little more personal, so it's not just so computer sounding. AI-powered, let's do this. AI-powered education and optimization web app. I can show you our YouTube tutorials or show you what's inside on the bizrise.io dashboard. What can I assist you with? See, now we got to think about this too, because that's kind of an open question, right? And people might just dismiss that. So you have to be a little more direct with your questioning. Let's see, my name is Hank. Let me show you around the place. Bizrise. Okay. Can I show you Can I show you our YouTube video tutorials? Talking and typing tutorials, or would you like to check out our business dashboard? Okay, so ask them 1-2 question, more direct. Okay, we're gonna add that there. Always, always, always. That'll just give us a 1-2 and at least give us a flow to get started. And then from there, I mean, we can branch off into as many different directions as we want to go. Always click this save button in here. So go ahead and click save. Right, now we have a default welcome intent. We have that welcome custom event handler down here. Now, I think, let's go ahead and see if we can delete this route out of there. And then we'll make sure this is always open. That way, when a user comes to the site, let's see, delete. I don't know if you can take that out and have that blank. Okay. Yeah, you cannot delete transition route. Okay. So that default welcome intent will at least keep out. Let's see. We're going to delete all these. Okay. We'll get those out of there. We'll click save. Now let's check the next part. Check the custom event checkbox. Provide the name and text response. This custom event name as a value to the attribute intent. Okay. So we should be good to go. That should be all we need to initiate that custom intent is that initial state handler. The only thing we got to make sure is we have to make sure when it is always open, right? We want it to be open. Let's see, expanded. Yeah, right here. Determines whether the chat is initially open. So we need to have it initially pop up open to enable that custom intent, right? So we need expanded, and we need that in the DF messenger chat bubble HTML. So let's grab expanded. And what it's saying here is Boolean, so true or false. Is it expanded or is it not expanded? It is expanded, so we need it to be true. So now we come, yeah, all right. So it's in here in the DF messenger chat bubble tag, expanded equals true. So that means when they come, it's going to pop open, and then we should get that custom response from Mr. Hank. All right. And then we are going to, from there, we'll be able to start going different routes and stuff like that. The second thing we need to decide on before we dive into actually doing all this is what we call the state handlers. Okay, so now this is going to be, what is this? This is going to be what you would actually call route groups. Okay, this is the thing we want to focus on is routes and event handlers. So we want to come down to routes. This is a big thing to focus on. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to save you a lot of time. So route groups right here. Okay, we have flow level route groups and agent level route groups. Flow level route groups are route groups within the flow as a parent. What does that mean? So let's say, Hank, we want to talk about BizRise.io, and we're talking about what is BizRise.io, what does it do, but over here is our marketing section. Well, within marketing and that flow, you're going to have social media, website, blog posts, and that means you can jump around inside of that flow. Basically means your user doesn't get stuck in a conversation. So you got to have a route, and we'll show you those routes to get out of there too, but it just allows them to seamlessly kind of move around flows. Handy that way, and then the other way, the agent level route groups, this is the one I use primarily because you can pretty much go pull out of any conversation in it, and if I'm in marketing right now and I'm in the social media flow, so if I'm down here and I said, oh man, I want to know about the BizRise.io YouTube videos for tutorials, it'll pull out of that marketing section and go straight to that BizRise.io tutorial flow. But you got to think too, are you going to have that agent stopping in between to kind of figure out where things are going? So initially, think about, it's kind of hard to determine at the end, but you got to think about, all right, how many places do we need to cover? Where are people going to need to bounce in and out? And then what's a good place to have them be able to transition within a flow? Maybe that'd be customer service or benefits, stuff like that, where there's a bunch of different sections and they need that individual. But then if they need to pull out, we'll show you, all right, we got to get out of that flow and make sure they don't get stuck. So we'll show you, what really happens. Well, right here. No match default, no input default. So if they need to get out of there, we'll be able to spin them back around, and then we'll use some of the AI as a foundation from our website to be able to handle those no matches, no inputs. And this thing's also got the power of Gemini. So not only do you have, your knowledge base, your website, your expertise, but you also got Gemini at your back, and then we can do a couple other things to really customize it and give it a foundation. So there's multiple ways to get this thing up high powered, but the main thing you want to do an intent for is to be able to have these analytics. There's nothing here because we got to build it into a hybrid, but by having this and having that agent pop out initially when people come to the site, we'll be able to see, all right, what are they asking about? What are they interested in? And that's real-time data that I can make decisions on right away. So that's the goal of this thing. And then not only, in the next section of this, I'll go over, what all this stuff is, how it works, because there's a lot in this little app bubble. Especially in the settings. We're going to come in, we'll go through all these. These are definitely, just turn them on. Boom. We'll hook up a BigQuery data set, show you guys how to do that. But initially when you come in here, we'll go through those settings. We'll turn those on right away. And we'll get you familiar with the dashboard, really all you can do with it. Enter band phrases like Tom Brady is the greatest QB of all time. Okay? I don't want my chat agent to say that. And it's, hey, that's just personal preference, but it's kind of funny. And it's a good way to say, hey, this is one way we can make sure, my chat agent isn't saying what it's supposed to. But we'll come in there, we'll show people that. What else? Oh, the generative AI, yeah. Generative fallback. We'll create a new template. Kind of show what's going on here. Data store. So this with your data store, this will give you some grounding. But with your data store, you can come in here and give your agent a name. So we'll say, Hank, and we'll go through all this. There's a ton of settings to get set up, but you got to kind of think about the end before we jump in here. What do you want it to do? Speech to text. There's a lot of stuff, but really initially getting started, multimodal. Yeah, this is crazy. You can put in different languages, Spanish, whatever you need. We'll go through some security stuff, but the main thing to think about initially is route groups. Hey, where are we going to need this agent to be able to pull, from sales or marketing or HR or, project management, social media, whatever flows you may need. And whatever it is, like I think I'm going to need to build, I need a small business expert. I have that built. So it's like, all right, if I have an end user asking about LLCs, and then they're like, oh man, what's a good time to post on TikTok today? It's going to have to pull out of those LLC conversations and route all the way over to TikTok times. So that's a good reason alone to just have agent level route groups. Now you got to go in and add them all the way around the horn, but it's a good way to kind of keep growing your agent day by day and just make sure everything's connected. So we'll get into that here in a sec and we'll go from there. But I wanted to give you an introduction really to, something worth thinking about ahead of time with a state handler. So agent level and flow level route groups. And then if you want your agent to pop out and say something, make sure you add that custom event right there. So call it welcome. And that way, you take out these intents, what the agent's going to say. And that way, when somebody comes to your website, you have it auto open and says, hey, my name's Hank. How can I help you? Here's a direct question. And it funnels them there. I'm going to head and end this recording because I'm going to take it to a Streamlabs podcast editor podcast. Take out all the blank spaces. But on the next one, it'll be like 5 minutes. We're just going to go into, one, what is all this stuff on Dialogflow CX? Because there's a ton of shit there. And then two, we're just going to go in to start building Hank to be that customer service on the front page of the website. And he's going to have all the tutorials for, because you guys got to see this. I came in the other day and I made, I don't know if they're still there. If not, I'll make new ones. But I made a ton of mobile tutorials for what is BizRise.io. And I was going to add all of those clips in there for YouTube videos. So when people come and talk to Hank, yeah, here they are. So I think I did this in a 46-minute live, but what is BizRise.io? Does it have a calendar widget? What's in the sales prospector? So when they ask about that stuff, not only can Hank give them a response, but he can also give them that YouTube video, just that quick little clip we created, so they can watch that, see what's going on, and then I'll get the intents and I'll know, hey, if there's something missing too, if they need a different tutorial, they're asking questions, and I don't have that in there, I'll have that information real time. I can jump on Twitch Live, make a quick video, get it on my AI chat agent, before they'd probably have time to fill out a bad Google review. That's how quick this shit is. And then what's interesting about this too is those Vertex AI Conversation agents. Let's see. We're going to show you that. Manage versions. Environments. Now we're going to create a version first. But when you create a new version in here, you got to understand these things are learning from every conversation. So we'll get into that too. But I mean, every time you even test it, every time you talk to it, that's considered essentially model training. So we'll get into really everything, and we're going to break it down step by step. But know these things ahead of time. This is just kind of an informational overview. But by creating content live, right, and making clips and being authentic, one, you're doing it to, hey, let's promote our brand, let's promote our product. But two, people can trust it because it's live. Three, you can use it for grounding for your conversational AI, and it can be the information you have. And three, I mean, you're going to use it to develop intents, entities. You're going to have YouTube videos to put in there. So people can have awesome responses. And I think, I'll just show you that right now. But like, for example, on, we'll add those in. When we go into pages, like you can do fulfillment, let's say on that default welcome intent, if we need to, I don't know if we can do it in here. Yeah, I can. All right. Dialog option would be custom payload. We'll just put our YouTube video in here, and it's a pretty cool system that's fairly user-friendly to set up. It's very flexible. And the best thing about it is you get an absolute ton of real-time analytics. So that's, I think, where the horsepower comes in. Is not only are you learning what your customers are talking about, but your AI is also learning and improving on it. And then, hey, what do you do from there? Point Google in the right direction and go. So those are the first things to really think about before you get started. All right, am I going to have a welcome message pop open? Route group, state handlers, like, hey, how many different flows am I going to have? Where am I going to go? You got to kind of build it backwards, right? Think at the end and just build it all the way down to the smallest steps, okay? But you're going to use a lot of agent level route groups. This will make a lot more sense when we get into the next video, but I wanted to give you a good overview of something to think about because I have built an entire agent with a ton of route groups and stuff, and then I was like, oh, I wanted to say something, and you have to reroute everything. It took way too long. So we're going to do it. We did it already, with the agent coming in here, but now we have that custom event, life is good, and we can start going into hybrid. That was a little bit repetitive, I'm sorry, but I'm in this recording. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, let's rock and roll. We're just going to roll straight into it. Get it going. Get it going. I don't know what you got. I hope you guys can see that window perfect. Okay, yeah, you can see everything in there. Doing it one screen tonight, keeping it just as minimal as possible because we're trying to stream some GCP. But we're going to be alright. That is going to be alright. Cool. Alright, so stream manager. Let's go. Let's go full stream. Alright, let's jump into GCP and get it going. Because this is this is where you get the power out of it. Okay. So let's get it rolling. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the first BizRise.io. Let's make your agent a hybrid live action tutorial. in the previous video. Make sure you watch that, please, please, please. I talk about, hey, a couple things you need to decide on ahead of time. One, do you want your agent to have a welcome message? And two, you got to start thinking about route groups, where everything's going, and how you're going to want those flows. I did put in that custom route, so my agent's designed to be open initially. That code is right in here, and this was explained in the previous video as well. So make sure you watch that video. Don't just jump into building it. It's important stuff to think about before you get in. But without further ado, let's get rocking on how to make this thing a hybrid for us, okay? So the first thing I generally tell people is, let's think about an FAQ flow. And what am I talking about with flows? It's right over here. And the best way I like to explain this is, think about which way water flows. Water flows the path of least resistance. And we want to give our conversation, that least path of resistance. I explain it. I had a college job working on a farm, and you go water a field, if you make a little adjustment, that water, by the end of the day might be taking a completely different direction. And that's something to think about when you're building these, is which way is that water going to flow? But more importantly, if you make little adjustments, it's going to do a lot, okay? Please take that advice ahead of time. Don't try and put in 50,000 intent examples. Little adjustments every day go a long way with these puppies, okay? But without further ado, let's rock and roll. Let's get some water flowing. Let's open up these gates. Let's pretend, for example, the canal is coming in to the start page here. This is where our water supply is coming from. We got to open our gates here. We got to let that water go. So let's add a flow. I'm going to create a flow here. It's going to be BizRise FAQ. Okay. We're going to create that flow. You see it pop over here, but nothing happened over here. That's because we got to give that water a gate. We got to open a gate here and make it go that way. We got to give it a route. All right, so if you look in here, we can come in, we can add a route. But how do we know what route it is? We got to give it an intent. We intend to go that route in the conversation, or we intend to open the gate and let the water flow that way. How do we make that intent? Come over here to the Manage tab. Look at this. They lay it out right in a little row for us. Follow, hey, first thing you got to do, create an intent. So what are we going to do? If people are asking, what is BizRise.io? First of all, what is it? Okay. So we're going to go, what is BizRise? Keep it simple. Okay. I'm not going to put in head intent or anything like this. I'm just going to leave it, what is BizRise? This intent is for users who ask about BizRise. As you guys will notice, I am terrible at talking and typing. Hopefully that improves. I'll work on that. But we give it a, display name. Now we give it a description and then training phrases. This is how we're going to tell our conversational AI that the conversation is flowing that way. The user intends to ask about that, or we intend to water that field. Okay. All you do is put, what is BizRise? Or what is BizRise? Simple is simple, simple. Click add. Make sure you click save. Okay, we just put in one. We only have one example right here. What is BizRise? Now we're going to come into entity types and we're going to create an entity. This would be like telling the field, what field are we watering? BizRise. What is BizRise? Okay. Well, it helps identify the intent. So you got to know what field to water. How are we going to know that? We're going to tell it. All right. So you go, what is BizRise? And we'll say BizRise. Well, yeah, let's go BizRise. And you can use, know this too going into it, you can use, essentially, like if I have BizRise here, I can use this in what is BizRise, what are the advantages of BizRise? So you're gonna have to give it a few training examples, but that's why I say don't take it and ramp it up too much initially, because if I put in 100 examples of what is BizRise, and then I try and say, what are the advantages of BizRise? Well, if I got 100 to 1, it's gonna always want to go to what is BizRise. So you gotta try and gradually grow these things. You can't just say, hey, do this now. So I say it's a constantly growing process, but when you come in here into synonyms, you can say, what is BizRise? Let's go BizRise info. More info BizRise. Okay, we can add it there. Let's click save on that. On the entity types, we'll come into intents. We'll go back to what is BizRise. Okay, I'll just highlight this right here, and this will come down and identify it in that new entity we created. And that's going to tell our AI, hey, somebody's asking what is BizRise. Let's take them this route. That way, we can give them the response they're looking for. So you can go more info BizRise, info BizRise. Okay, let's just highlight that whole thing so we keep it controlled to what is BizRise and what we're looking for on this fact here. Okay, let's click save. So now we have that intent in there. We know our user intends to go that way. Now we get to connect the dots on the flow and that intent. Come back to your build tab, click on that start page. Now let's give it a route. Let's open a gate and give that water a route somewhere to go. Okay, we're gonna say this route is for users who ask what is BizRise or for more information. Okay, let's grab that new intent we just did. What is BizRise? That's what they're asking. Now we're not going to say anything here, but this is where you can stop the flow on its way and be like, all right, now in field BizRise, what is BizRise? Do you need to go A or B? And then that depends on usability. Like if you have a couple different sections and you want to make sure it goes exactly that route, you can stop it and put it in here, depending on the conversation design you want. But I'm going to leave that blank for now because I just want them going straight to BizRise FAQ. And from there in that flow, we'll start creating specific pages so we can identify, all right, we have what is BizRise IO? What are the advantages? What can it do for me? How does it save time? But that all goes under the fact flow, right? So we're going to have that flow with a ton of stuff in it, but we got to make sure we get people there initially. I'm not going to stop them. Okay, we just want it to go that way. Let's click save here. And then what we can do too, something important to look at, is when that doesn't match anything or there's nothing that really we can get back to them, no input default, you can enable generative fallback, which means, all right, we have these responses, right? But you can also pick your data store. I mean, you can put in a generator if you want to. This will be cool. We'll demonstrate this with date night ideas near me, but you always want to make sure you have something in there. Generative fallback's always good. Respond with user-defined response messages, all right? And we'll get into all that and make sure we set that up. But these are important to have on every specific flow, every page, whatever you need, because you don't want your users getting stuck, right? So you can, like right here, you would basically just, let's just do, all right, clean out all that. We added that data store response. Let's just do that from the top. So with your agent responses, when you need to do that, come in and click add dialog option. We'll go data store response. You can give it a link. I mean, definitely if you need it, but I mean, now your agent's going to rely on that website you just grabbed last night. So it'll train, it's trained on everything on the website, and then plus it has Gemini as a backup. But basically this will just loop it back up top. Life is good. I'm going to leave some in there for no match, just see if they want to try again. But also at the same time, let's go data store response. We'll keep that in. Definitely give them a link if you want to. Beware here when you're putting the links in or sources. If you're using a storage bucket, that you make that storage bucket public, and we'll do that here in a second when we go develop the bot farm. But I want to get at least one, hey, show you guys how to make a flow, how you guys can put in intents, entities. We'll put in a page, and then we'll put in a YouTube video, and you can go from there. But look at that. Now we have our flow. We are in the BizRise FAQ flow. Now within that, we have to develop a few places for it to go. Let's do, hey, what is BizRise IO? So let's put a flow within a flow so we can show you that. But first, we need to think about this, right? What do we talk about when we get started? We gotta talk about route groups, okay? We want our agent to flow seamlessly. So if they ask one thing, they can just jump out. I'm gonna put it at agent level flow, create a new one. We're gonna go BizRise FAQ, okay? Save that. Come in here. And do you see that back there? Okay, let's take a step back. But it doesn't have any routes yet. We need to add a route to it. We need to tell it, all right, this route has been created. Add a route. This agent level route is for users who ask what is BizRise.io. That intent we're going to pull out is what is BizRise.io. We're not going to put any parameters in yet. This is going to be cool too because we'll put in questions we can ask our users if we want to, ask them, hey, what tutorial you want to see next, or what's important to you as a small business to have information on. We can grab those parameters. We can put stuff in like that. But with agent responses, this is again where you can break it up on those route groups. I'm not going to put anything in there. And I want it to transition. All right, when they match that intent, I want it to go to the BizRise FAQ flow. And from there, it's going to be able to route which way we want to go on pages matching intents. So you also got to think too, let's match that flow, let's match that page. Where does the water want to go? We click save. Now we have that agent level route group where we can go to that intent. What is BizRise.io? All right. And now we got one route, so we're good there. Let's go back to our build tab. We come in here. All right, we'll go back to the BizRise. This is a start, but now we're going to this flow, BizRise FAQ, and we want to go to another flow. We'll just add that in. I don't know if we would necessarily normally put in another flow for what is BizRise.io. That might be a good page use, but for demonstration purposes, let's put in another flow. What is BizRise.io? Okay. We'll put in that flow, and again, nothing happens here. We got to give it that intent. So, create a new route, intent, what is BizRise? And it's going to be the same essential pattern each way you go. They make it pretty user-friendly. Just, grab the intent you need, where does it need to go, and send it there. Okay. So as you can see now we have here, when it goes, what is BizRise.io? It's going to come straight from that default start flow, go into the BizRise fact, and then drop into what is BizRise.io. Now we need to create a page in here. Let's create a new page. And a cool way to do this, save some time, but you can come in here to the start page. And, well, we know we're going to have to do this, right? Enable generative fallback every time you go. Well, that's fine. Dialog option, data store response. We linked that up to the website last night. Life is good. Get that no input. Get those out of there. Data store. Bada bing. Okay. Save every time. Save, save, save. Don't use keyboard shortcuts. It doesn't work. But let's go back into those routes. So now we need to add a page, right? This is where we can start adding those pages where people come in. Good way to do that, add route. This page has the agent response and YouTube video for what is BizRise.io. Let's match that intent we created. What is BizRise? And we're not going to take a response here yet because we're still in that flow, but let's go to page. And it's nothing in there yet, right? So let's go new page. What is bizraz.io? And that should create us a new page. Let's check it out. Save, save, save. So now we have this page, right? What is bizraz.io? But we also, right, we have another flow. So let's go back to this flow. This is just something, it's going to save you a lot of time. Route groups, I'm going to put in another agent level route group. We're going to go agent, what is bizraz.io. Save that. No routes, and we only got one here. Let's add another here. Add route, intent, bizraz. Now we got to be careful because we're going to be sending it 2 different places, right? So where do we really want this to go? Probably this one. Let's say we're going to go to that specific flow. What is bizraz.io? Okay, so check that out. We know now this is going with the same intent, right? But if our page is going to be in this one, let's take it off this one. And let's just delete that one. Okay, because we don't, well, we'll just show you another example. But, you know, I would really probably delete that other one just because it's going to be confused. But let's leave it in there and see what happens for test purposes. And if we got to take it out, we'll take it out. For users who ask, what is bizraz.io? Like, what do you do? Okay, so we'll leave it in there. Go to that flow. We'll test that out and see what it does, just so you guys can kind of see an example. Let's check out route groups. Did I take out that other one? Webhooks, route groups. Clicking everywhere. Let's go agent level. Okay, so we got, that's going 2 places, right? Let's take out this one. Let's take out that bottom one. That's going to throw it off anyway. But now we have, what is bizraz.io? So we have it going 2 different places. Let's see how this works out, because this is the top one, right? And this is the bottom one that goes to the page. So let's see if having those dual flows in there messes it up. Okay. But in what is bizraz.io, now we want to start providing that information back. And it's going to be a seamless experience through those 2 flows, but we got to make sure we set it up to route, you know, at least enough places where this page isn't something above that flow where it can go different places. But edit description, I'll put this page contains information for users who ask what is bizraz.io and has the YouTube video. Okay, click save, edit fulfillment. Here's what we're going to do, and this is a way, this will keep your cost down. Now, I mean, the cost isn't very significant at all, but this is how you can keep your cost down. You say, bizraz.io is an AI-powered education and optimization platform developed to bridge the tech gap and show small businesses, individual creators, and freelancers what tech and AI tools are available for them to grow. bizraz.io has a full business management platform. Vertex AI agents in each aspect of our business, and YouTube tutorials to teach you how to make your own. What can I assist you with? Okay, we're going to add that. So now we have that agent response. coming into that flow. Now let's see what we can do there. But we'll demonstrate not having a response here, and we'll go back to it. But let's go in here and test it. Let's see what happens. Okay, draft. We're starting in the default start flow. Our environment's draft, default start flow. We're going to start at the start page. We're starting at the top. Okay, hello. Oh, because it's not popping open, right? So we'd have to test this in the, well, let's see if we can identify our intent. What is bizraz.io? Okay, so it's going there, right? But nothing's identifying. It went to that page, but it didn't respond. Why not? Why didn't it respond? Fulfillment. Did I not say did I put the fulfillment in the wrong place? Where did I put that fulfillment? Is it in here? In here? No, because it would have stopped. Did I not save that? Did I not save it? Bizraz.io is an AI-powered education and optimization platform. We're not going to type in that whole thing again if it's not going to work. Save it. Alright, let's test it. We'll see. That should work. But I don't have my pop out, obviously, in the draft environment. But let's see if we just go, what is bizraz? Okay. Boom. So what's cool about that is it went, come in, what is bizraz? That's going to handle all the way down to that page initially. So we went through 2 flows, went straight to the page and got the response. Awesome, right? And now that's set up so it's a 2-level stack. We have it going to fact, we have it going to what is bizraz, and it takes it down to that page to identify it. And it didn't get tripped up with our route groups, which is nice. So because it's going into 2 different routes, right? It's going to that FAQ, then what is bizraz, and down to the page. So it's basically going 3 levels. But what's cool about that is now what we can do is we can start putting in some analytics, all right? How do we do that? Well, what we can do here when we come into our fancy schmancy agent here is click on these settings, okay? Or these 2 right here initially. Enable cloud logging, enable conversation history. Yes, just do that, okay? That's going to allow you to enable that. User feedback, yes. And this is where we're going to add in the template for the YouTube video. But we'll click save there. But these are going to allow you to do a lot, all right? So just for an example too, quick example, we'll get into the YouTube video. How am I doing recording time? Yeah, I'm going to shut this one down too, since we got at least flows, intents, and entities. Then we'll put a YouTube video in. I got that YouTube video up on YouTube as well. But now with our settings, being able to enable that cloud logging and conversation history, intent suggestions, we're going to be able to track the analytics of what people are asking about when they come see Hank. And that is really, I mean, initially getting started, that's going to give you that foundation. Now to start thinking about what you need to do for flows. I have the FAQ here, so it's going to be like, what does your company do? And inside that, it's going to be, what is bizraz.io? What are the advantages? What types of AI does it have? And go into those details. But if you come back up here, initially I was thinking, all right, I'm going to build marketing and sales and all this under one. But that's not the way it's going to be anymore. It's just going to be, all right, we have to build the best customer service agent possible for what is bizraz.io, the FAQ page. Because it looks like we can team all these puppies up, but it says, hey, build in verticals. Look at the logo. Bunch of little AI powered chat agents under one bubble. So we're going to build this into the what is bizraz.io. Let's tell people about it. I'm going to end this recording and this live. I want to put these up on Podcast Editor on Streamlabs desktop. And I got some Twitch tutorials going up on the YouTube channel, and we'll get some Streamlabs going up as well. And this will give people at least a good foundation to get started going on BizRise.io, on Vertex AI Conversation. I thought it was a better idea to do these initial tutorials, just full lives. Kind of go over what to think about initially and how to get into some flows. I thought micro tutorials for going hybrid probably weren't going to be as beneficial, but if you guys like the the micro tutorials and you just want them broke up into little chunks, like what is a flow or what is an intent, I can do that as well. So let me know what you want and we'll go from there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Twitch. Subscribe, do all that stuff, like, comment, share, tell your friends, and we'll get into it all in the next one.